Now, to be clear, I could talk about a lot of different aspects of Gotham Knights' story, but today I'm simply going to focus on one aspect, that being the side mission cutscenes for each hero. These missions, known as Jason's story, Dick's story, Tim's story, and Barbara's story, prompt the player to go to various locations around the Belfry and open world to watch cutscenes that show each character's own unique struggle with becoming Bruce's successor. Each cutscene is available after reaching a certain part of the story, and once accessible can be viewed anytime the player wants, but you can only reach the next cutscene after viewing the one before. Dick has to deal with how to become a better hero and leader. Tim has to learn how to grow from Bruce's passing, Barbara overcomes her lack of confidence in her own mental capabilities, and Jason has to deal with the physical and mental consequences of his unexpected return. In all honesty, I really like what these cutscenes have to offer, as they show a lot of emotional moments with all of the heroes. Tim and Jason's stories stand out as my favorites, but all of the missions have something unique and interesting to share in terms of story. Also, keep in mind that what I am about to say in this video is my opinion, and I love to hear your thoughts in the comments. While these missions themselves are really well done, the problem in the storytelling has to do with the overall structure of how these cutscenes are presented. You see, Gotham Knights gives you the ability to switch characters at basically any time throughout the story. You can essentially choose whatever character you want before starting any mission, and this flexibility is greatly appreciated, as it gives a lot of freedom for players to play the game in the way that suits them best. Unfortunately, this means that in terms of story, the entire campaign has to be done in a way that will allow all of the knights to experience every single mission. This means that if we were to try to implement all of the hero stories into the main campaign, we would miss out on a lot of cutscenes that were exclusive to the knights. Playing most of the game as Red Hood would make us miss the other three hero stories, making the story feel less connected. So to eliminate this possible problem, the developers at WB Montreal decided to make these cutscenes as a side mission, allowing for more flexibility to compensate for the ability to switch characters at any time. Granted, I have no idea what the process was for making these side missions, and they could have been created as a side quest from the start, but this means that you don't have to miss any of Barbara's story while playing as Nightwing, because if you switch to her, you can just watch any of the cutscenes that are available to you. But here lies the first problem in the solution the developers had. These cutscenes are optional. By not being forced to watch these moments in the story, many players probably didn't even bother to watch them in the first place, or in some cases didn't even know they existed. Another problem this brings is the fact that due to each side mission's flexibility, you could watch all 5 scenes in a side mission back to back to back after beating the story. This means that the character arcs each knight has might not necessarily line up with the story being told in the campaign. Now, with all that being said, the biggest problem that this decision has is the fact that it decides to keep these moments separate from the main story, meaning that these stories can't be told in gameplay. Any moment you're trying to investigate the court, find Talia, or stop one of the main disasters going on in Gotham City, the knights always talk about and react to the case. We never get to see any of their personal struggles while playing through the main story. This means the campaign is void of a lot of the best emotional moments of that story, because they're locked behind an optional side mission. I know that I'm going to get an emotional cutscene when I complete each part of the side quest, but I also know that the entire arc of that story is not going to be found anywhere else when doing other things in the game. Imagine, for instance, that in Batman Arkham Knight, Batman only hallucinates the Joker in cutscenes, when the player cannot control the character. It would make the looming threat of the Clown Prince taking over Batman's mind a lot less urgent, as we don't really get to see Batman slowly lose his ability to control himself. Instead, the game uses both cutscenes and gameplay to properly display Joker's threat to Batman's mind, and it works extremely well. Since the Joker shows up anytime while playing the game, I was oftentimes surprised to see him pop up when he did, but with Gotham Knights, I know exactly when these moments are coming and know that they won't come from anywhere else. I only see these characters learn to grow, learn, grieve, and comfort when I want to see them do so. Otherwise, the Knights resemble Batman in the sense that they are focused only on the case, and that shouldn't really happen because these heroes aren't Batman. I want to see them have character arcs. I want to see them struggle and to overcome those struggles throughout the main story. I want to be surprised by sudden outbursts from Jason, a moment of doubt from Barbara, a desire to be better from Dick, and an unexpected feeling of inadequacy from Tim. And I want to see that in the main campaign. I want to be able to have each of the knights be able to express their doubts and fears while taking on the court, and I want to see them overcome those fears all over Gotham, not just in the Belfry. I believe video games can tell amazing stories when utilizing gameplay, whether that be through the dialogue or even from the world itself. So how do you fix this problem? On one hand, you have the inability to tell a story through gameplay and keep each character arc self-contained in the side mission, resulting in many players skipping or straight up missing out on these moments. But on the other hand, you run the risk of confusing the players when they encounter a scene involving a character that they haven't been playing as for the past few hours. To be honest, I don't even think I have a perfect solution. The entire concept of being able to switch characters at any time is greatly appreciated, but it creates a very difficult task to overcome in terms of story. That being said, here's what I would do. Though granted, it won't solve all the problems. First, I would put these cutscenes in the main story and incorporate all of the characters' arcs into the gameplay. I want the game to constantly display what the knights are going through during the entire campaign. Second, in order to minimize the amount of cutscenes a player will miss due to only being able to play as one character, I would make the campaign show all the cutscenes that feature whichever knight you're playing as, not just the ones centered around your hero. This means that when playing as Jason, I will see all of his scenes as well as any scene where Jason is part of another knight's story, or even when all the heroes are in a scene together. This game puts a big focus on the fact that they are a team, and being part of a team means sharing their own personal struggles with each other. So I don't think it would be too far-fetched to have the player watch parts of the other knight's stories, especially considering most of the scenes create a conflict that is somewhat resolved by the end of the scene. Like I said, this solution is not perfect, but it would allow for the heroes' stories to be shown in the best way possible, and if anything, it might incentivize replaying the game as a different character to see what other stories are told. I believe that each of the hero stories have something unique and exciting to tell, and it's a shame that a lot of players missed out on these moments in their first playthrough. With all that being said, let me know what you thought of Gotham Knights' story. Did you like each of the Knights' side missions? Which one was your favorite? What changes would you make? Feel free to give me your thoughts, feedback, and ideas in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time.